Hello, and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Scott here, and we are back. After a bit of downtime, we are back to do, well, not just one, but several unboxings here. Woefully behind on these things, and, some people have been asking, and a couple people are always curious what's coming up next. So, probably going to be dropping 2 a day here. I've got quite a stack to get through of some very interesting RPG finds that I picked up, and of course, as always, enjoy going through them because these are things of interest that I have never gone through before. So taking a bit of time during the unboxing to discover what's within is always fun for me and apparently enjoyable to others. For whatever reason that you pop on to my channel to view these videos as I go through my tabletop RPG midlife crisis, thank you. So I really appreciate it. But anyways, so let's kick this thing off. This big old box right here holds something within it that is pretty much, not going to be as big as it seems. It's not another box of wonderful, wonderful treasures like the Dying Earth RPG from Goodman Games, but it seems someone had, packed it very, very well. So I appreciate that with dealing with games that are used. And what's inside of here is something that I have been looking to get for a long time, but like so many things that I look forward to get, a lot of times they are behind the horrendous tabletop RPG collectors paywalls. But every once in a while, as you know, if you've been following this channel for a while, I will get lucky and find something as far as in a auction or some of the other sites that are out there. And when I do, try to grab them as quick as I can, and fingers crossed, I am the one to win it. And this is one of those. So, without further ado, did I say ado? Do? Whatever. Again, completely unprofessional. We are going to dive right in. Got my trusty Coleman camping steak knife here. We are almost, not quite half the year in, but we're past tax season without shedding any blood. And I don't think today's going to be the day because this seems to be packaged fairly easily for me to open. So let's dig in. All right. Oh, yeah. Now, this is a simple one. This is, like I said, this is a big box, but I do have an idea of what's inside, and I assume that it is packed very well for a game that has been around for quite some time. Oi! We have a bit of bubble wrap here, and like these things, they never really come out like they do on the little camera, but we'll slide this out. No personal information there. Nope. All right, good. So it's kind of, you can tell it's a used game because it's, as we all know, grocery bags are the best way to add extra security to your shipping products. So what do we have here? We have a box set of Lace and Steel, the role-playing game of swashbuckling fantasy by Pauli Kidd. A little bit of a history before we dive in. And for those of you who don't know who Pauli Kidd is, she's been in the tabletop industry for quite some time now. Probably, the name may creep up in some of the early Greyhawk novels, such as White Plume Mountain and, what was the other one that she wrote? White Plume Mountain, Descent into the Depths of the Earth, amongst other things. She's been involved in many other RPGs. For me, the ones that I know her from is Albedo, however way you want to pronounce it. Albedo is it's an anthropomorphic space drama kind of comic book. I read it back in the day. I was a gigantic fan, and like so many things, when the fandom trickles over into tabletop RPGs, it is the first thing you tend to jump on. It's like, what is this game that exists outside of the comic book that I'm reading? Was a big fan of it. Unfortunately, like so many of us of a certain graying age, our role-playing game inventory tends to slide in and out. And unfortunately, the Albedo game that I had back in the day was a victim of my horrendous tabletop RPG loss that occurred many, many years ago. And if I didn't touch on that on one of my videos, I'll touch on it again some other day. I won't bore you with that. But most importantly, this right here is something, as I stated, been looking forward to getting for quite a long time now. I'm a gigantic fan of swashbuckling type games, swashbuckling fantasy games. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Seven Seas, of course. Many others out there exist, but this is one that's a little bit different as far as my understanding is about it. But let's take a look at it and see why that might be. So this box is fairly old, so I got to be careful with it. So it's just a little slip case over it. And let's go ahead. Is there a description on it? Right. Let's see. I'm going to just see if I can take a brief moment to read it so we know what it's about. All right. Lace and Steel is a great, unique, ancient... Lace and Steel is quite unique. Sorry, apologies. Ancient magics mingle with rapiers and muskets to make life doubly dangerous. It is a world where many races thrive. Humans, half-horses, otherwise known as centaurs, satyrs, harpies, while at the edge of civilization, sinister fairies, trolls, and ogres lurk in haunted forests. The game systems are clean and simple, easy to learn, but entirely flexible. The game's most unique assets are its cards. Its card-based conflict systems. Well, here we go. Can't read. Hand-to-hand combat, sorcery, and repartee are all simulated by special card games. Games that are quick to learn, but that offer players the opportunity to fail or triumph according to their own efforts, rather than on the mere hazard of a dice. So there you go, in a nutshell. I mean, if you were looking at this in the game store, you pretty much have an idea of what it is and what to expect, so there's no surprises if you purchased this game back in the day. And while, card mechanics within a lot of role-playing games people may not like, I'm not a stand for any real game system. Dice lists, cards, whatever the case may be. If it works, it works. I really don't care. I mean, if it works and it's fun, and it's not moving mountains to come to these, to utilize these resolution mechanics. It can be anything. It could be Skittles, whatever. So carrying on, and here we are. Gotta be careful with this. Let's see, when did this game come out? Does it say on here? Oh, it'll probably say when we look at the book, but it's been around for a while. There we go. Open, and there we go. All right. Whoops. We'll do it this way. There we are. Slide some books out. Obvious it's used, so of course the cards are going to be not organized, which is fine, and that is all that is inside there. So we'll kind of slide these aside. Now, Lace and Steel does exist on Drive-Thru RPG. I believe you can still get the game in PDF form. It used to be available for print. It may not be still the case, and likewise, the cards themselves, you can also pick up and drive through. But again, they used to be available for print through Drive-Thru RPG, but they're just PDFs now. But for games such as these, printing cards in this day and age is not hard to do. So if you wanted to check out this game, don't worry about the card mechanic. You can print them out yourself. So we've got some books in here. We've got Lace and Steel Book 1, the characters. We have Book 2, Naked Steel. Book 3, The Middlemarch, what I imagine probably is the setting book. And Book 4, Adventures. And then, looks like we have some uncut cards here. And then this particular one came with also Castle Keitel, which is a scenario, which is separate and didn't come with the box set, is my understanding. So the person who sold this included it all in one nice, neat package. Separately, these things are a bit crazy as far as purchasing them online. To see it bundled together at a very, very affordable price was something that I could not resist. So let's just take a look at Book 1 real quick. I'm sure this will have another description of the game itself. All right, so where are we at with this? So, acknowledgments here, some things to read. I always like that when people include their inspiration, whether it be books, movies, or, bands, songs, whatever the case may be. So some inspiration here. Study the genre Irish and English folklore. Adventure novels. Oops, looks like my... So we don't hear that bling so many times. It looks like my Outlook is still open. I'm going to close that. I don't know why that bleeds through all the time, but c'est la vie. Anyways, so adventure novels, The Bodice Rippers by Jack Vance books, Leoness, of course, and Cudgel Saga. Okay, that's yeah, absolutely. Comics, The Dreamery. Another comic, Stints. Fanzine, The Centaur's Gatherium. I doubt that's around. And as long as we're going, go find a copy of Albedo role-playing game. There you are. Wonderful art, nifty game system. Buy lots of copies for all your friends. The game can be mailed ordered through for US $20 from Thoughts and Images. Oh boy, I wish it were that simple still. All right, so concerning role-playing games, so we have that standard section here. Oh, it's just a little paragraph. So let's see. And then we have the introduction. And going through here, that's essentially a deeper reiteration of what's on the side of the box. So let's see what she has to say. Ignore this section if you're an old hand at role-playing games. Thank you. I will. So we'll move on. Yes, but the old hat. You never know when someone, whatever game may be, how obscure or mundane it is, or well known. You never know what the first game is going to be regarding their introductory to role-playing games. I mean, yes, usually it's D&D, but you never know. So as much as we kind of roll our eyes as, oh, what's an RPG, blah, 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 you still kind of got to include it. It's just common courtesy. And again, if you already know what it is, you just skip it. I mean, and as presented here, it doesn't hurt anybody to include a short bit of information about a role-playing game is in any book. So, brief introduction. I'll just read that real quick. Lace and Steel is an attempt. Oh, sorry. Let me just clear this here. Again, in case you're new to this channel, unprofessional. So there's going to be cameras are going to shake. The sound may cut in and out at times, which it has done. On occasion, I will reveal discount or free codes on certain things that I get. So please be nice and don't use them if I don't catch that. But anyways, carrying on. Lace and Steel is an attempt to create a fantastic game environment. With Lace and Steel, I have sought to capture the elements of swashbuckling romance that are missing from the bulk of fantasy role-playing games. Evil grand viziers, ladies in distress, the flash of rapiers, and billow of sails and fair wind. These are the elements of romantic fantasy, and it is just such things that dour, brutal, medieval, monster-bashing games tend to ignore, which is true. Variety is the spice of life in all things, and that includes role-playing games. Sometimes you just don't want to go down that dungeon and kick in doors. You want to have a fantastic adventure with the salt air blowing through your hair, and romance and swashbuckling on the bow of a ship as you are fleeing people trying to hunt you down for something important you stole from some old castle on an island somewhere within a fantasy realm. Anyways, I digress. Let's see here. So what do you need? To play Lace and Steel, you will need the following essential items. 2 six-sided dice, the Lace and Steel rulebooks and combat decks, shuffle a decks well, photocopies of a Lace and Steel character sheet, paper, pens, pencil, and 1 more player. So at least 2 people. So where do we have here? Dice. Okay, whenever the dice are rolled, the player will hold the type of the dice required for the roll. So what are we rolling? Does it say? Oh, no, does it say here? We don't have the dice mechanic yet. Well, probably it's further on. So, all right. So as we're going through here, so we got the different races within the world created here. Of course, as mentioned, there were humans, half horses and centaurs with descriptions of their behavior. Carrying on, we have wild races. We have satyrs. We have harpies, merfolk, and then we also have the fairy races. We have fairies, the halflings, which are, I guess they're considered pixies. Looks good. Hobgoblins and goblins. We have trolls and ogres, And there you are. So you've got a good variety of options within here to choose as far as your player character races. Characteristics. Let's see here. All characteristics are rolled on a D6, 2d6 plus 3. If a character scores 14 or 15 on its initial die roll for its magical aptitude characteristic, it may roll an extra d6 minus 1 and add the result to its total magical aptitude score. So the different aptitudes are strength, endurance, dexterity, reason, intuition, drive, charisma, and magical aptitude. There we are. All right, so then after that, we have what's called a fatigue rating, along with hit points. We do have levels of wounds. We have dexterity, which looks like it's dealt with cards. The maximum number of cards that a character can retain in its hand during combat is dependent on the character's dexterity. Okay. Then we have optional ratings, maximum sorcery hand, a new sorcery draw. So mechanics in here for obviously using and drawing cards within aspects of magic and combat. Let's see here, and then dealing aspects with healing. We have weight mechanics in here, so that's got to play a role at some point regarding, then likewise, encumbrance. Let's see. Lace and Steel uses significators. Lace and Steel uses a tarot deck to provide a means of generating personalities and dispositions of characters. Each character draws one card from a tarot deck as its significator. The card will affect disposition and characteristic classes. Interesting. So we have the variety of the different cards and what their meanings are within the game. We go through here. So I think it was mentioned early in the book that having an actual tarot card deck would also help. It is an optional rule, but I would imagine, if it's, optional rules, in my opinion, are always tend to be recommended. Otherwise, why would they be in there? We have skills. Okay, here we are. When a task is attempted, the appropriate character is tested to decide upon the success or failure of the character's attempt. Subtract the difficulty number determined by the chart below from the character being tested, and look this number up on the comparison chart below. Beside the number thus yielded, you will see a second number, the required die roll. This is a number that must be rolled or less on a 2d6 in order to succeed. So there you go. 2d6 system, comparison chart with a difficulty rating based upon these charts. Difficulty task numbers are anywhere from simple, being 5, and nearly impossible being 25. And then we go through a description of different skill ratings. Okay, which are noble background. And then there's also templates here to help you get you through character creation more quickly. A variety of skill lists. As you can see here, they're divided between social skills, courtly skills, military skills, movement and perception skills, craft skills, knowledge skills, and magical skills. And then we carry on with the actual clarification and descriptions of these. And that pretty much looks like it rounds out this book. Interpersonal relations. We have things such as disposition. The first aspect of interpersonal relations simulated by Lace and Steel is the character dispositions. All characters and NPCs must draw a card from the tarot deck to provide their character with its initial disposition. Okay. Interesting. And then the various aspects of those dispositions and how to, manage them within the game. Let's see, self-image. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, this is what I would probably call, for lack of a better term, like a dramatic game. It's not just swordplay and haha and ho ho on the seas of on the seas of adventure, but it's also courtly ways, drama ways, charismatic, nefarious aspects, backdoor dealings, romance, seduction, which is all characteristic of this particular type of genre. So, it's just, out of the box, it seems like at least there's something there that kind of covers all those aspects and doesn't leave a lot to want if you're looking for that particular type of genre. And then we've got a little reference chart in the back. So carrying on, So that's the basics of the game. So let's just kind of breeze through the other books, so you have a general idea of what to expect. So book 2, Naked Steel. Okay. So this is dealing with melee combat, drawing cards within that aspect, dealing with the sequence of play within the game, special cards, and then we're carrying on into armor and their value, weapons and their values, missile combat, and we've got magic. So we pretty much everything. One book is character creation and description of the mechanics of the game, and then the meat of what all that is within the second book. Demonology. Okay, so summoning demons or using demons, very Morcockian in that aspect, is a part of the game. Necromancy, magical combat. So we've got a breakdown of the sequence of play, done in phases. So phase 1, you're playing attack cards. Phase 2, defender parries the incoming attack. Phase 3, damage to target shield. Phase 4, damage to the opponent. So 4 phases. And then carrying on with special effects. Mass combat's part of the game. Of course, battles and aspects of battles and wars being fought for glory, and also just for personal reasons. Again, as a part of this particular genre. Ship-to-ship combat, which, again, another part of it. And even that has more rules and ship-to-ship combat than the 5e Spelljammer box set. I'm still not over it. Repartee combats. Okay, there we go. So yes, a little bit of snark back and forth. there's mechanics for that. All right, so book 3, the Middlemarch, which is the setting. Okay, I just kind of flip to the back. There's a wonderful map here, and so we've got the geography and aspects, various factions, technology as it exists within this world, daily life, society, the state. Things that may not really come into play in other role-playing games, but this would definitely be part of it. Courtly life, town life and rural life. Of course, not everyone is part of the court. Military life, the seaman's life. So we're kind of covering all these aspects. Starting money and whatnot. Firearms and weapons. Kind of going to be a bit detailed there. Clothing, again, fashion. Fashion is definitely part of this genre, kind of similar to, things like cyberpunk. Fashion is something that can make or break a person in certain games, and this would definitely be one of them. Transportation, of course, horses being the primary part of it. Wagons an aspect, boats and ships, and of course dealing with travel, which is where we are. And then finally, very kind enough to have some adventures come with the game. So how many do you get here? We've got the Pressed Man, a scenario for any number of players. I love these drawings. The character profiles in here are very nice. And then, is that just one of them? A masked ball. So there's the second one. And is there one more? Stock incidents. So, okay, so yeah, just little adventure seeds. It looks like probably. Yep, there we are. Maybe yes. So you got 2 adventures and some adventure seeds in there, which is more than what you would get in a lot of games. I always take issue with someone who has a core rule book and not having some sort of adventure to kind of help you walk you through the mechanics to give you a general idea of how the game functions before you take off on your own. And then lastly, we have Castle Keitel, a Lace and Steel adventure scenario. So we won't go through this in too much details. Obviously, there's spoilers in here. I mean, we're going through adventures, so that's a given. So yeah, nice meaty adventure here. I would imagine it covers all aspects. Because I don't think there was much else produced besides this. I could be wrong. And I would imagine that these particular cards here that aren't cut probably come with the adventure. Let's just read what it says. Some 8 days ago, the Baron Keitel had a hunting accident. Suddenly frightened, the Baron's horse threw him into a thicket where he fell heavily. By the time his rescuers arrived, the Baron was unmoving and unconscious and has remained the way ever since. Weakening day by day as he loses the struggle against death, the family has gathered at the castle to grieve and wait, and tensions build as the question of succession preys on everyone's minds. The castle has become rife with faction and suspicion as the partisans of the 2 contenders for the baronial title intrigue against each other. Even in town, heated debates as to the outcomes of the succession causes disturbances and fight. Fight or fights? Fights, yes. So there you are. So yeah, this has been a wonderful, wonderful edition. Again, giant fan of this type of genre. Not just the swashbuckling genre, but the courtly intrigue and whatnot. As someone who is a fan of the Dune role playing game and other games like that, that have that nice mix of of combat and action adventure, but of course repartee and actual character interaction to deal with the machinations of what's going on in the backgrounds of these worlds. As you make your way through various courtly factions to either serve yourself or help a patron with their own personal plans and whatnot. So, and then of course a stack of cards. We won't go through those, but I'll have to organize those before I put it back in the box. So there you are, Lace and Steel. Yeah, this has been like I said, a wonderful addition, a wonderful find, and something that once I kind of get through some other books that I'm reading, this is definitely going into the top of the reading list to kind of go through this. I'm very excited. And one other thing, as mentioned, Pauli Kidd being the author of this and other role playing games. I'll put a link in the description, but I believe a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, she started doing a lot of review videos of a variety of games and also miniature games, miniature warfare games, and with the occasional, insightful look into certain aspects of the hobby. So definitely check out her channel if you get a chance. And there you have it. This has been yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. And if you're interested in these, check out the other videos that I have. There's going to be, as mentioned, several unboxings, kind of maybe dropping 2 a day, just to kind of get through them. And also check out Titter Pigs. Oh God, sorry, it's morning here. Haven't had coffee yet. The podcast that I do with Keith from Rolling Boxcars. Definitely check that out. We just dropped an episode with Johan Nohr and Pele Nielsen, the authors and creators of Mork Borg, and we've got more to come. And if you enjoy the podcast, hop onto our Patreon that we just opened up. Help us, grow the podcast more and more. And also, if you like this video, go ahead and give a subscription. Not that I'm doing this for money, I'm doing this for the fun and enjoyment, but I'm kind of close to whatever YouTube requires to actually make three red cents on every 500 videos here. So it'd be kind of neat to have it, but it's no big thing. Anyways, yes, wrapping up, moving on to another unboxing. Take care, everyone, and until next time, have a wonderful day. And where's that button? There we go. Again, unprofessional. Bye-bye.